father of television. Hello and welcome to our information booth.
It is National History Day, a time to remember the great minds who shaped our nation.
And in this case, Philo Taylor Farnsworth, the inventor of the first all-electronic television.
What? You've never heard of the boy who invented the television at 14 years old?
Why, despite Philo's invention being stolen by the RCA, or Radio Corporation of America, the television was a great success.
It helped shape our future and opened us to a new world of communication, science, navigation, the arts, and entertainment.
Philo was born on August 19, 1906, in Beaver, Utah, and he soon moved to Idaho with his grandfather. He found magazines in his home and electrified his entire house and barn. Philo?
Professor Tolman?
Another A+. Exemplary work, Philo. You're by far the best student I've ever had in this class.
Professor Tolman, I've been thinking about, well, it's a device. Can I show you my sketch? Basically, a coating of cesium oxide, which is a photosensitive material, gives off electrons when photons hit it. If we can take a coating of cesium oxide, put it in a specialized tube, then...
Whoa, what are you trying to explain here? Because I don't get it at all.
An electronic television, sir. See? With this invention, there'll soon be a time where we can hear and see people in other lands. If we understood them better, differences could be settled around conference tables without going to war.
Amazing. How did you get this idea?
I was plowing potatoes, and I realized that the plowing tool was making parallel lines through the mud. This reminded me of electrons. If we can control electrons and put them in parallel rows, we can create an image on a screen.
I will be happy to support you with your ideas. I believe this firm can change the whole way we look at things, maybe even the world. Sadly, Farnsworth's father had since passed away, so Philo dropped out of college to be the man of the house.
He met benefactors George Everson and Leslie, or Les Scovell, from California, who funded his research.
Within 3 days, Philo married Alma and Gardner. They set up a small lab in Hollywood and then moved to San Francisco when they received more funding from Crocker Bank. Alma and her brother, Cliff, helped Philo in the lab with glass blowing, welding, and drawing.
Cliff, get the glass slide with the line on it. Put it in front of the image dissector tube. Oh my gosh, it's working! Wait. Turn it a quarter turn. Well, there you've got an electronic television. That's television for you. We did it!
I'll be damned. What makes this good? And that is how Farnsworth invented the electronic television. He soon filed a patent for his image detector and held a press conference in September 1928.
In October 1929, the stock market crashed, and there was intense pressure from Crocker Bank to find a buyer for Philo's invention. Farnsworth reached out to Vladimir Zworykin, thinking he was working for Westinghouse Electric Corporation.
Farnsworth planned to sell Westinghouse a license for his televisions, but Vladimir Zworykin was secretly working for the RCA. His plan was simple. Take notes on Philo's prototype and then report back to David Sarnoff so they could build an electronic television on their own.
Good afternoon, Mr. Zworykin, sir. Here's my image dissector tube.
That is a very fine instrument you have there. I wish I'd invented it myself. Have you filed your patents yet?
Yes, sir. My patent is here.
It's very interesting, sir. Thank you for your time. Must be done yet? I shall.
Zworykin then went to RCA and attempted to rebuild Philo's model, but was unsuccessful.
Shortly after, David Sarnoff headed the RCA, tried to investigate Philo's lab and use the television as his own again. Good afternoon, Mr. Everson, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sarnoff. My boss, Philo, isn't here at the moment. You see, he's in Washington. But I will be glad to show
And I am very impressed by this, but I fear that there's nothing here that the RCA will need. Goodbye.
After George Everson met with Sarnoff in 1931, David offered an insulting $100,000 for Fowler's patents and a job at the RCA. Farnsworth refused. He then engaged in a 10-year patent battle with the Radio Corporation of America. And he also moved to Philadelphia, where Philco bought the first television license from him and funded his research.
Sadly, the next year, Phil's young baby, Kenny, died of stroke. Philo couldn't even attend his son's funeral because of Philco's pressure to work. Soon after that, though, he left Philco and started a company of his own. In 1934, Philo first demonstrated television to the world at the Franklin Institute. He showed performers, athletes, politicians, and even pointed the camera to the moon at night.
In 1935, Farnsworth and his high school teacher, Professor Tolman, proved through Farnsworth's high school notebooks he had the original idea for the image dissector tube, whereas Morgan had none. He was soon awarded priority of invention for the patent battle.
In 1939, RCA officially conceded and signed an agreement to pay $1 million in license fees for Philo's patents. But instead, they did not.
During this time, Farnsworth started a new company called the Farnsworth Television and Radio Corporation in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
RCA presented the television to the public at the 1939 World's Fair. There, they broadcasted Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And Sarnoff declared, and now we got sight to sound.
The world then believed RCA invented the television. Philo was forgotten and left out of the great circle of magnificent inventors, while RCA mass-produced televisions.
World War II soon interfered with the television business. The government made it mandatory for all technological laboratories to use their resources for more important things, such as military equipment and radar.
After the war, Philo was able to sell his televisions for only 2 more years before his patents expired in 1947. RCA and many other corporations took Philo's invention, taking credit for all of his work. My invention was meant to be a marvelous teaching tool, Philo explains. Television is a gift of God, and God will hold those who utilize his divine instrument accountable to him.
Given the long RCA battle and the war, Philo became very depressed, resorted to alcohol for relief, and his overall health suffered. He and Alma went to move to Maine, where Philo gave up on television and started researching nuclear fusion. In 1949, the Farnsworth Television and Radio Corporation went bankrupt and was sold to the International Telephone and Telegraph, or ITT. Philo continues his research on nuclear fusion, and later in life, he and Penn moved back to Utah, where he died of pneumonia in 1971 in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Penn didn't want Philo's legacy to be forgotten, so she wrote books about him and had interviews with several spokesmen about their story.
As a result, Philo earned many awards, plaques, and statues. He has his own postage stamp and Emmy Award, and was finally inducted to the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 2013.
Philo holds over 300 foreign and U.S. patents. Those ideas were not only on the television, but telescopes,
a microscope that can break down atoms and see germs,
a baby incubator,
a gastroscope,
air navigation systems,
a way to sterilize milk using radio waves,
microwave amplifier,
missile defense systems,
radio frequency amplifier,
a base to dry and treat lumber,
iontron, which could extend sight to space by 50,000 times,
and nuclear fusion reaction devices. Let's go. We have 1 minute to do this. Oh, yeah.
I can tell you why the picture is as good as it is. They're using my image dissector to broadcast the moon landing.
Your image dissector always had the best detail for the picture because of its direct scan operation.
This will be the first big step. If all goes well, there'll be no holding us. The natural curiosity of man will take us out, one planet at a time. I wanted so much to be part of this exploration. Penn, this has made it all worthwhile.